Welcome to Life Karma. It's been a moment.
Sam almost died.
Oh, yeah, right.
I believe in, I deceive in, bobbing, weaving.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here with everybody.
I'm happy you're alive.
I'm happy I'm alive too, because it would suck to be dead. I wouldn't be here doing a podcast with you. It would be haunting.
Oh, shoot.
It is October.
I love it. You know, and
Yeah.
Sam always brings the fun, tricky stuff.
It's October.
October's the best month of the year.
It's interesting. It's funny, you guys, and my wife got me the sticker, and she gave one to me and one to Brian, and it says, "Welcome to the shit show." Okay,
That's our podcast.
This is really not like what. This is not her style.
That's
She knew
no.
that we say this a lot, so
It is not
she
our
did
style.
that to honor us somehow. I don't know. Who knows?
Or-
Well, it's
or
good to be
make
back
fun of
with you.
us.
Yeah, it's good to be back with everybody. How's it going?
A lot has happened.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about this time? This session.
Sam he almost died. I feel like.
I didn't almost die. Kim was going to go to Canada. She had to get a COVID test to go to Canada. I've been fully vaccinated for 7 months, and she had to get a COVID test to go to Canada, and she got one. It was negative, and then she decided to delay her trip a couple of days, and she had to get another one. She went and got another one, and she was positive. And then when she was positive, we had everybody in the house tested, and her and I were positive. I had no idea where I got it. Have no idea. Everybody else was negative.
And I rode in a car with him.
And you were in the car with me, but we were masked up and gloved up, and you've already had COVID.
I didn't have a mask on.
You didn't have a mask on.
Sam did. Sam is
I had a mask.
Sam is very, what should I say, protective.
We couldn't figure out how we got COVID. That was the weird thing. And I was probably sick for 3 or 4 days, and I'm still have residuals of it. But
Yeah, you're struggling with the energy.
The thing was weird was I had a cold for like 3 weeks and a sinus infection, and then I got COVID. So, to me, I was just sick the whole time. I've been sick for like 5 weeks.
Yeah, no fun.
So I'm glad to be feeling better, and my energy is lower than normal. So,
Well, we're glad Sam's still here.
yeah, I am glad too. Cheers.
You
Well,
survived. Well, I'm drinking my favorite mix of Mountain Dew Zero and a Red Bull.
Ooh, that's quite the caffeine blast there.
I just want to give everybody an update on Sam. Sam officially does not believe in free will, everybody.
That's not true. I totally
want
believe
everyone
in
to
free
know that now.
No, I
He has
believe-
done his studying over the last month that we have not had a podcast. And he has finally come to the conclusion there is no free will. There's nothing but determinism.
That is not true. That is not true. I have done a deep dive into the archives of free will, neurology, psychology, philosophy, and what I have done is I have moved on the concept of free will.
Where have you moved to?
I've moved to absolute free will. Some people don't have. I see free will as more of a continuum, right? Some people have less free will. For instance, addicts have less free will than people who are not addicted. So my mantra is use the free will you have. Use the free will you have. But I still do not believe free will is an illusion. I believe free will is an actual thing. Just because you can't measure it scientifically doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Well, would you say you have more free will now as an adult than you did as a child?
Yes, because I have more awareness.
So children don't have that much free will.
No, I didn't say that. I said you asked me
just
personally.
wondering. Yeah, I know.
Children
I know.
have free will, but as your brain develops, your free will increases. If you have a normal, healthy brain and a normal, healthy childhood, my childhood was not normal, nor was it healthy.
So our free will comes from our brains?
No,
Because that would be illusionary.
free will has always existed. It existed before we were created in human form.
But what makes the choice then? Like we're talking about brains or whatever, but if you have true free will, what is making the choice?
Well, that's a really good question. I believe that free will is magnified when you use critical thinking and creative thinking to find out information to make the best decision.
So it is your brain.
Well, it's part of your brain. I think it's also your emotions, your heart. It's your head, your heart, and your gut. Helps you use all three of them if you feel good about something, you're emotionally good about it, and you think through it, and then you make a decision, and you go for it.
See, that's the problem with me with free will and everything with it, is because no one can tell me where it comes from. Because if it comes from all those things, then all of them have to be in harmony for you to have free will then.
That's not true.
Well, but if it comes from your brain, then you're not in control of your brain. You know that. I know that. You cannot be in control of your thoughts. You can.
Yeah, you can. You
don't control what comes into your head.
No, I didn't say you did. I didn't say that.
Well, you said thoughts. I'm in control of my thoughts.
So if you have a negative thought come into your mind, you can have a free will on to act on that thought or not act on that thought. That's free will.
But where did the thought come from? It came from your brain?
No, it come from your subconscious. It came from your genetics. It comes from a lot of different places. Sometimes just random shit that pops up.
And things you don't have control over.
Because you watch TV and violence or whatever.
Right, and you didn't have control.
Well, you have control over what you watch and what you expose yourself to, but some things you're exposed to and you don't have control over.
Correct.
So it doesn't mean you don't have control over your thoughts. Exercising control of your thoughts is one of the most important things we can do as a human being.
But it's just
because
so fast.
Thoughts lead to action.
Well, yes, and that's my point. Is thoughts lead to action, and sometimes thoughts come into your brain or wherever you want to put them, and you have no control over the reaction.
I think thoughts come to my ass quite frequently. It's just magically appear in my ass, not in my brain, or maybe in my fingers. I have a thought. When I flip someone the bird, it's a thought. My finger had a thought.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
That one definitely cut me off.
I don't mean to disrespect you. So what were you just saying? Let's reiterate what you were saying.
That was not disrespectful. It was actually really funny.
It was sort of funny.
I know
some people that think with their genitalia, but
there's a lot of people that do that.
They're driven by sex.
And they have no control over that.
They have no control because they never exercise discipline to have control over it.
Well, that's a whole nother. Oh my gosh.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Well, we won't talk sexual stuff, sexual desire, all
sexual.
That. Oh my gosh.
Sexual addiction. That's kind of stuff. That's not my area of expertise, obviously.
Well, I don't have much expertise, anyways. I mean, I just think free will is such a fascinating topic / illusion, whatever you want to call it. But I think the thought of you having free will is very comforting.
Of course.
And we always choose things that are comforting. We don't deal a lot in the hard things because we don't like them. And I think sometimes we want to believe things that are not true out of simply feeling more comfortable with it.
So I think I agree with mostly that, but I can tell you from personal experience, in the way that I grew up, it was very uncomfortable to use my free will.
Yes, I believe you.
Because I didn't want to be like the people that I was around.
Correct.
I wanted to pick a different path. I didn't want to be like them.
But what even gave you that? Like, that's my whole point. Is like, where did that even come from?
Okay.
The very idea to be different.
Okay.
Like, and did you have control of that idea coming to you?
So I had maybe not direct control, but eventually I had control. So here's the way I explain where desire comes from or where motivation comes from. People are either pushed by pain, pulled by vision, or inspired by love. As a youngster, I was pushed by pain to change and be different because I hated the environment I grew up in. Later, as my brain began to develop and I started understanding the skills that I had using critical thinking and creative thinking, I realized that I could set a different trajectory, and I was pulled by vision. And
where'd the vision come from, though?
The vision came from my own desires, my own talents, my own. I just wanted to be a great football player, and I wanted to go to law school. Right. I wanted to be smart, and I wanted to be tough. And those two things really inspired me to change my life and my attitude and my behavior. And then the third way we can change is to be inspired by love, which I have tried to do that most of my adult life, is to become better and improve and change my circumstances because I'm inspired by love. And you don't believe in love, so
no,
that's not
love's
gonna work.
an illusion.
Love is not an illusion.
I can definitely say love is more of, I know, here we go.
I cannot believe I did not have you bring this. So it's Brian's birthday this week, and I got him a birthday present. I special ordered it. and had it made.
motherfucker.
The first present I got him was a damn it doll. It was freaking fabulous.
That was fabulous.
What you're supposed to do is you grab it and you throw it down on the ground and say, damn it, when you're mad. And it's supposed to help you be less mad. And as a divorce attorney, I'm sure he's throwing that dang thing around a lot.
Already.
It's great for therapy, maybe. It's a therapy doll.
Yes.
And the other thing I got him was this ancient stone in this leather case with an ancient Chinese symbol for love on it.
Yeah.
It's a love stone. I got him a love stone. And I did it in honor of his father, whom he loved greatly and who had a great impact
Who
on
I
his
had
life.
a great connection with.
Yes, who you had a great connection with and you loved greatly because he was your genetic
I just don't know.
father.
I mean,
your father. He
we
provided
already
for you.
know this love's an illusion.
He loved you first, so you loved him second. And
Okay,
that's why we love our parents and love those.
This is why our wives love our kids more than they love us.
Totally, because they created them. They incubated them in the belly.
Yeah, but they'll never admit it because they don't want to hurt our feelings. But when they're mad at us, they'll admit it.
Well, they don't need to admit it's clearly obvious that I'm less important than my children or my
They
grandchildren.
didn't have any free will over that.
No, they have free will. They just put a second.
See, it's much more comfortable for me to believe they didn't have free will, and that choice makes me feel better about myself.
So, if you didn't have free will, why would you use critical thinking to solve any problem?
Critical thinking is I think, a genetic and environmental thing. Like, I think you're brought up a certain way to critically think because you see, see a better outcome because of your critical
So,
thinking.
free will, you don't need free will to do critical thinking?
No.
I'm playing Brian. My name is Brian Arnold.
I know. No,
So,
you don't need free will to do critical thinking at all.
Really, you can just critically think and without choice.
Correct.
You can choose.
You don't
have to-
choose, it just happens.
It just happens. Critical thinking just happens. It's not
Correct.
a discipline. It's not a study. No, it just happens or it doesn't happen.
Correct. Your brain just naturally goes down that progression.
Yeah, absolute bullshit. I completely call bullshit on that.
Think about it. Like, you're taught in school certain things. You're taught how to think. And some of those things you have to unwind because they're not correct. And you go to high school, college, whatever, and you unwind even more until your brain functions like a machine.
Yeah, so. Let me lay this on you when it comes to critical thinking. Critical thinking is done by questioning, and so Socratic kind of questioning, curiosity, and looking at the facts and the information from all perspectives.
Yeah, that's
right.
right. Yeah.
That by itself is a choice. To critically think about something is a choice.
Okay, well, let me give you an example then. Let's just do the fun one, right? Let's do the vaccine. People that believe in the vaccine are starting to scroll through Twitter and see an interesting study about not getting the vaccine. They read that. Is that really critical thinking? Since it was placed in their path, and they read another article on it, and vice versa. Someone that might be against the vaccine might read something about the vaccine, and then it causes them to think of the other side. But by reading it, it causes it. It's not a conscious thought.
What made them read it?
I don't think they had any choice in their movement to read it because of how they already are.
Really? What moved them to look at both sides? What moves people to think critically or be liberal or conservative?
I think a lot of it has to do with how they were raised.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure it does, but it doesn't. It's not the very reason why. Like, let me tell you what I did. I used critical thinking about the vaccine. I said, okay, vaccine's gonna. What I was told was the vaccine will prevent me from getting COVID. That was a lie. But what I was also told was that it'll help you not get COVID, and then if you get COVID, it'll be a far less
Correct.
on your body, and you'll have a much higher chance of survival.
Less side effects.
I looked at data of non-vaxxers. I looked at people that vaxxed, and I made a critical decision based on all the information that I would get vaccinated. I was vaccinated last April, and 3 weeks ago I got COVID, and because the COVID I had, was probably 2 or 3 bad days of feeling sick and having low energy and having a cough. I'm probably not going to get the booster shot because I have a natural immunity because I had COVID. So
Correct.
I did get vaccinated. I'm not getting the booster shot. I still got COVID, and I masked everywhere and was very careful with what I did. And I still got COVID. Kim and I got it both, and we have no idea where he even got it.
So
I used my free will to make those decisions.
So my hypothetical here, let's just hypothetically speaking say free will exists. Is it ever okay to take away someone's free will?
Okay, let me tell you something. What if I was to get a case of duct tape and I was to just duct tape your ass to the door there and took away your free will?
That's what I'm asking.
What would you do?
I'm asking, when is it okay and not okay?
Well, when it's not okay is when you didn't do anything to deserve your freedom being taken away from you. If you've broken major laws or morals or codes, and if you've harmed other people, there needs to be.
But who decides all those things? That's where I get all tripped up on.
Court decides that, or you can put justice, liberty, Mother
Lady
Justice, Lady
yeah.
Justice. She decides that, or a court of law decides it, or you take justice in your own hand and you go physically harm someone that harmed you.
See, that's where I get so messed up on this whole concept of free will too, is when it's okay to take it away. Because our laws and our society is nothing more than what men and women in positions of power have decided is good or bad for a society. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is good or bad for a society. We are living by rules that this is all an experiment, right? America is an experiment.
Sure.
So why is it, and I get it. We have to function as a society in some possible way.
Right.
But there's a real thin line in taking away somebody's alleged choice and allowing them to make a choice.
So when you are committing an armed robbery and you kill somebody, you've taken away their choice to live.
You have.
And there needs to be some kind of punitive penalty for that. Otherwise, people would just kill people and whenever they wanted.
Right. And that's what your set of morals tell you.
Right. That's what my set of morals tell
Correct.
me. And a lot of people's set of morals tell them.
Correct.
Right. So,
but why can't they just go to prison for life?
They could.
Why can't we just kick them out of our country?
We could do that as well. So I spent a lot of time working in federal prisons.
Yes.
And I worked with a lot of people that were in life, they had life sentences. And I've seen people in life that had life sentences that were bitter, cankered, and angry because they weren't free. And I've seen people who are committed to, had life in prison, and they're more free than people out of prison because they had freedom in their mind and in their soul. And they did the best. They in prison with their basic freedoms taken from them. That freedom which they had, they used to the full extent, and they would learn. They get their degrees. They would learn new skills and new talent, and they'd be productive. They'd help other inmates, and they had great personal power and virtue, even though they had made a very bad mistake and really did something wrong that harmed people. And I honestly think that we incarcerate way too many people in this country. I believe that there's a small majority of people who are truly psychopathic and deserve to be in jail, but most of the people are in jail because they just make a mistake or a series of mistakes, and it's not.
Yeah, where's
they don't correct it.
Where's forgiveness play in this whole concept of taking away people's free will?
I think that's a really hard question.
It is. It's very hard,
especially when someone's harmed you.
Well, absolutely. And how do you as a society reach a consensus of what forgiveness is? Or if it is, should it even play a part in your society? You're absolutely, because everyone's not playing on the same playing field here mentally, right?
So I'm reading this book, Jerusalem, the biography, and I'm about...
Yeah, Sam made me read it too, and it's messing me up.
So I'm about 1300 AD, where the Muslims controlled Jerusalem, and some Muslim leaders were just like, they were an eye for an eye, and if you got caught if you stole something, off with your head. If you did any kind of crime, they just kill you.
Right.
And later, so this happened. Actually, it was a progression with the Greeks as well. So Greeks did this initially before they had a republic and before they had Lady Justice and all this other kind of stuff. If you did a wrong, you just were killed.
Right.
They would just take your head off.
Ejected you out of society.
Right. Yeah.
Permanently.
Yeah, they just kill you. And then as it got more sophisticated, as the Grecian government got more sophisticated, with more morals and more thinking, more critical thinking, they started having penalties affixed to certain kinds of crimes. So if you were petty theft, you just had your hand cut off and you weren't beheaded, right? So, so they actually,
Yes.
and then you take the Romans pick up the Greeks kind of government and ideals, and the Romans had a different idea. And as long as you were a Roman citizen, you get away with all sorts of shit. But if you weren't a Roman citizen, it didn't really matter what you were. And so I think we've had, ebbs and flows in governments and civilizations where we've had really punitive, hard repercussions for doing people wrong and harming other people. And then we've had lighter times.
But you see it even in state by state, right? Different laws, different penalties, different.
Right. So California doesn't have the death penalty, right? Correct.
Right.
But Utah, we live in Utah. They have the death penalty.
Right. And I'm against the death penalty just from a simple fact that it costs more to put someone to death than it does to keep them incarcerated the whole life.
I don't know that. I know that it costs more to incarcerate someone than educate them.
That's the truth. I know that.
I can tell you that right there.
Oh, yeah.
You incarcerate someone that at an average cost of $30,000 a year for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. You pay for their medical care. You pay for their
well, you pay for the cops and everyone to watch them, and you pay for those
everything and the infrastructure and all that.
Geez.
And there's a lot of people making a lot of money doing that, and because the government ain't making money.
Yeah.
And then you have people that if they were just been helped when they were as a kid and in gangs, and they were educated and got aware and rehabilitated before the madness ever started, it would have been the best investment we could have ever made in people.
Well, but here's the interesting thing is, like, as an American society, how much do we really believe in our law when we have places like Gitmo, right? Like, or our black ops sites, or, you know what I mean? Where
our special ops, go in and kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like we went and killed Osama bin Laden. We just murdered him. We killed him, right?
Yeah, we just went in, we did it, right? Like,
now he did some bad things to us.
He did, but there's no
court.
I mean, you
trial.
were just bringing up how if you're a Roman, you got treated differently than if you're a non-Roman.
Totally.
And we've applied that, have we not?
Oh, totally.
We keep people at Gitmo on purpose in Cuba, right? Like, we know what we can do there.
Right. But like Nancy Pelosi can get away with anything. Like, I'm serious. Joe Biden can get away with anything.
Yes, they can.
Yeah. And John Gruden can't do a text message. I know this is controversial, so
emails from 10 years ago.
I'm not supporting John Gruden.
No, he said some very horrible things.
Yeah, he did, which are completely unacceptable.
Great, but where's the forgiveness come in? That's my whole point.
Well, the problem with like taking someone out like a Gruden is that when he makes mistakes 10, 11 years ago, there's nothing he can do to go back in time and change that.
No.
And most of us have made pretty bad mistakes.
I wouldn't want all my emails read.
Are you kidding? I wouldn't want any of my voicemails.
I'm not saying that I said
emails.
it. I never said anything like Gruden said, but
Me neither.
But I know I've probably said things that could be taken completely wrong.
Oh, totally. I've said things that I was not proud of. I was ashamed of.
Like, I love calling. I mean, you should see some of my emails in between attorneys. I'm just like calling their clients really fun things.
I'm sure the things you've told me have been interesting. Just the kind of chats you have, the things you talk about to their face. The other attorneys they could cancel you.
They would cancel me. Yes.
I guess that's the bars for that, right? The bar can.
Yeah.
Really.
You know what? That's why I'm more scared of women attorneys. Like, I feel like women attorneys can just mess with you in so many more different ways than a man attorney can. Like, I just feel like women can see into your soul and mess with your soul. Men, we're too busy. We're like bears, right? We want to get up on our hind legs
men are
and
too
fight.
busy flexing. They're
Right.
flexing. I'm in charge.
And women are just like, nah, I see your soul, and I'm just gonna get that little corner down, and I'm gonna make you feel stupid.
Yeah. I if I was a female and I was going through divorce, I'd want a female attorney.
You know, it's actually opposite.
Really?
Men want women attorneys, and women want men attorneys.
Well, see, there you go. What do I know?
They want to feel justified.
There you go. Justified. So.
I don't know.
So we know the law is not perfect, and we live in this democratic republic.
But there's no forgiveness in the law.
Well, there's no forgiveness. You have to
Pay something.
pay some kind of penalty.
I think money, paying money. This has been the problem. I've thought about this a lot. Is I almost feel like money's a harsher penalty than doing 30 days in jail or something like that. But then it being evenly applied is a problem, because then you have people that grow up in lower incomes that where crime is committed. They can't afford it, like a snotty trust fund kid that comes up, maybe gets a DUI, and paying $2,000 is not a big deal. But to someone growing up in government housing that gets a DUI, that's like 3-4 months of wages.
Yeah, and they go to jail.
And they go to jail.
Right. So money clearly makes things
Complicated.
Justice is not equally distributed when you have money.
No.
People with money get away with far more than people without money.
How do you fix that, though?
I don't know if you do fix it.
Well,
Unless you just like, if you're committed to a crime, that everybody gets the same sentence whether you have money or not.
what if we have fixed a percentage of your income to a crime? For example, 10%, 20%, whatever. You commit this crime, instead of it being a flat fee fine, we look at what your income is and say, okay, this percentage.
Then I would indict Jeff Bezos, and I just want 1%. He was mean to me. He offended me.
I mean,
I want 1% of
if
his
Jeff
income.
Bezos knew that, let's put this in perspective. If Jeff Bezos knew if he committed DUI, he was going to lose 5% of his income.
That's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Correct. And then if a guy that growing up in the projects committed DUI, he'd lose 5% of his income for that year. Do you think that would have a more worse effect or a better effect?
I think it wouldn't affect Jeff Bezos at all, and I think the kid I don't think it would affect either of them, because the kid in the hood is just going to go out and steal or do whatever to get more money.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Like, I don't know. I mean, he's probably quit his job and say they're going to garnish my wages.
I don't. Yeah, that's the
It's just
thing.
I don't know what fixes it.
Because there is something in the law that works that way in child support. It's
Right.
based on the incomes of the parties.
That is true.
There's no flat fee for what it costs to raise a child.
Isn't there a minimum
Well, yeah, they
per
put you
child?
at the, no, the minimum is they put both of you at minimum wage.
Wow, that's not enough to raise a child.
$1,257 each
Per
in
kid?
income. No, that's your income. So child support for one kid, if you're both on minimum wage, would be something like
$1,200 a month.
now like $200 a month.
Oh shit, that's nothing.
That's my point. Is like it's an interesting thing. No matter how much money you make, because it works out as a percentage almost, right? Mm-hmm. No matter how rich you are or how poor you are, they both complain about child support. But it is the one thing in the law
It's
that
sort
is,
of it's equal. sounds
yes, yeah, like it's equal percentage wise. And that's why I always tell my clients, it's not child support, it's like child support alimony. It's because the more the parents make, the more child support there's going to be.
like. Yeah.
But it's the only thing in the law that I've seen applied
So
evenly.
right. So we know how it is in our country, but like other countries that are more communist or dictatorial, like their injustice in the law is far greater than ours.
Well, that's our belief. That's our moral.
Yeah. Do you want to live in China?
No, I definitely don't. I don't want to live in Afghanistan. I don't want to live in any of those places. But my point is like we've been raised a certain way, our morals are a certain way, and our beliefs are a certain way. People that live in China, maybe not. But there's a lot of people that live in America that hate our system
Oh, totally.
and believe that it's
Yeah.
completely corrupt.
Yeah, they're just totally anarchist.
Yeah,
They
but
just
and there's
wanna blow
people
it all up.
there's people like that everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Like it's easier to complain about something than to fix
Yeah,
something.
but in China, you're just killed.
Correct.
They'll just kill you.
Right. In Afghanistan.
They'll kill
That's
you.
what drove me so nuts about, like, okay, the Texas abortion law. We can argue about it all day long. But what drove me so nuts about it is you had women in Texas saying they'd be better off living in Afghanistan
My gosh.
than Texas. I'm like, what freaking planet
Yeah.
do you live on?
Yeah, they don't know what they're
It's like-
see that's driven by ignorance.
It's
And
driven by
ignorance-
more than ignorance.
Well,
it's
yeah,
like,
ignorance is
it goes to that anarchy
because
thing.
you're not using free will.
yes. Because you don't have any.
You do have free will.
No,
you
they-
can be. No one. Everybody can get a driver's license. Everybody can go on the internet and learn shit. YouTube is the great learning platform for
But
the
here's-
whole world.
But here's the great thing about America. This is the one thing I do like. Is if you don't like Texas's law, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just
Yeah,
going
move out of Texas.
to move.
Leave Texas.
You have a constitutional right to move.
Yeah, of course, of course.
You don't have that anywhere else. Like, this is my one thought. You are truly not free unless you are free to exit.
To leave, to fight or
To
flight.
leave.
To fight or flight.
Like, you are truly not free unless you can exit. Why do I, if I leave to another freaking country, still have to pay taxes to America on income I earned somewhere else?
You don't, do you?
I think you do. Pretty sure you do.
don't. No.
How much you want to bet?
It's just like in London, taxes are way higher, so people...
Right, but if you're an American citizen, I don't think you have to pay as much.
If you're working for an American company,
Yes.
you pay American dollars.
Yes.
But you don't have to pay American taxes and taxes in Great Britain.
No, but I think you still, well, I don't know exactly. I should
But
look that up.
if you work for a company in Great Britain, you have to pay Great Britain taxes.
Well, I think that's how it should be, though. Wherever I'm living, I should pay taxes
Yeah, that's
there.
how it is most places, I think.
Yeah, you should be free to exit.
Yeah, if you don't like taxes. Well, that's why a lot of people come to America that are, actors from foreign countries. They come here.
Whatever. Our tax rate is out of control.
Is
I don't
it?
even know where all the freaking money goes.
One goes to, it just, who knows?
Blockchain
Well,
technology will fix it all.
Really? Okay, yeah. Cryptocurrency.
Just telling you, crypto and blockchain will fix all that crap.
Yeah, mark of the beast, man. Crypto's mark of the
What
beast.
the frick are you talking about? Are you for real right now? What episode of Sean Hannity have you watched?
Mark of the beast. Cryptocurrency. Government can track everything.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose
Yes,
my mind.
that's crazy. Mark of the beast.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose that. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna.
of the beast.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say hit the Halloween button because something is feeling a little creepy right now.
That's a little creepy. I don't know. I'm just making fun of you. I'm just.
No, I know, but I'm just like mostly everything. If you really break it down to do you have freedom or not, it's about freedom to exit, divorce. But when you are in jail, there is no freedom. Your freedom is gone. You can't exit.
No. But you are free to take action. See, I don't disagree that if you can't exit.
Such an illusion.
Bullshit.
That is
How is
such
that
an illusion.
I can get up and walk right out that damn door if
No,
I
I'm
want
talking
to
about
right
in
now.
jail.
No, but you can have freedom in jail.
Oh my hell.
They
No.
have libraries in jail. You can read books.
So freaking
You
what?
can go to the gym.
Define freedom for me. Freedom is freedom to, if you can exit, that's freedom. Now, you tell me like a mental state? It's just a mental state.
Freedom is more than a mental state, but a mental state is part of it.
I just don't understand how freedom exists if you are in prison.
Well, you can't leave.
What, you have like a free
prison.
2 hours?
No, but you can have visitors in prison. You can read books in prison.
Through a
You get
glass door.
education. You can, but because you were free to do what you did, but you're not free to escape the consequences of what you did, and consequences are
That's why you
you're
have no
in jail.
freedom. That's why you have no
But
freedom.
you gave up a measure of your freedom.
That's fine, but freedom is gone.
Because you did something of your own free will that causes you to go to jail. Now, do you have the ability to walk out the front gate? Absolutely not. Can you
Right.
go wherever you want, whenever you want? Absolutely not. But you do have a measure of freedom. So use that freedom which you have to move forward, to make progress, to get better.
Oh, gee. There's no freedom in prison. I
There
know
is
we're
freedom
going to
in
disagree on
prison.
this.
There is
There's no
freedom
freedom
in
unless you
prison.
can exit.
I disagree.
I know.
I am free to disagree.
But
I
that's
am
because
free
you
to
put a positive
disagree.
spin on everything.
That's not true.
I have never heard you put a negative spin on something.
I hate ignorance.
But I'm sure you're going to tell me something about ignorance that is good.
No, ignorance is one of the most great evils on the planet.
Yeah, and
Earth.
people don't have any free will on if they're ignorant or not.
Ignorance is just not trying.
That's an interesting thought.
Ignorance is choosing
Because if you,
not to try, not to learn.
well, if you're ignorant, do you know you're ignorant?
Some people have no idea they're ignorant.
Right. So how can they be really making a choice to not do something if they don't even know?
Well, I don't think people that are ignorant choose to get better in anything.
Maybe they don't like being better in anything.
Okay, they're free to do that and to move to nothingness.
Move
It's
to
the
where?
second law of thermodynamics.
Move where?
Entropy. If you're not getting better, you move to nothingness.
Listen,
Till you disintegrate into oblivion.
that makes me.
into chaos and rubble.
Why is it that my fingers won't go through this freaking table?
Well, they will if you hit it with enough force and power.
Yeah, but it's made up
You
of the same
practice
thing.
in
Our hands are made up of the same thing as this table.
No, our hands are not.
Yes, if you go under a
This is
microscope,
flesh,
there's like
that's wood.
molecules.
Oh, bullshit.
Yes, electrons, all same shit.
Have you ever taken karate and busted through a board?
No, frick no, I don't do karate.
I have done that.
Of course you have.
Of course, and I've cracked a damn 2x4 in half.
I feel like, yeah, you've done
with a
everything.
strike.
Like, you are a very impressive physical specimen.
No, but
That's what I'm saying is, like, I think you've done everything physical, and I'm, like, over here messing with my brain.
well, I think you're a physical specimen.
It's fine. I don't feel bad about it.
You're
It's just
a
like,
great athlete.
I mean, technically speaking, I am made up of the same thing as this table.
No, that's bullshit.
Look it up. It's scientific.
Chemically, you're totally different than what's in this table. Have you ever heard of this thing called the periodic table of elements? Right.
Well, me and this table have a lot of the same elements in it.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. Look it up.
No, this is a laminated top, and that's a follicle, skin follicle, and that's bone and flesh and sinew.
molecules.
Okay, molecules aren't all the same. Atoms aren't all the same. They're
Actually,
not.
they
Elements are not the same. Water is not the same as air.
Well, if you break it down, it might be.
It's not. It's different.
I'm just telling you.
That's why you have, like, what is there, 28 things, 28 elements, 32 elements? I don't know.
I don't know. There's more
It's been
than
a
that.
while since I've had a chemistry.
Bob-
64 elements?
Bob Lazar. Do you know who Bob Lazar is? Bob Lazar.
I don't.
He worked on Area 51.
Oh,
And he came up with a new element. He said that they were using Area 51 for projecting, crashed UFO, and they got all this stuff, right?
okay.
We now recognize that element. He predicted it like,
So that means that my hand's the same as the table. That's
just
not
telling you.
logical. That's not logical. It's not logical.
you know what's not logical?
What?
That you have freedom in prison. That's not logical.
You do have a measure of freedom in prison. I didn't say you had all freedom in prison. You have a measure of freedom in prison. You have some
You know what
free
else
will.
isn't logical is getting a love rock when you don't believe in love.
I was totally messing with your mind when I gave you that rock.
It did.
But it was really well thought out. It was
I have to
very
see it
sincere.
Every freaking morning on my counter, I put it there just so I can see it and get a little smirk on my face
Yeah.
and be like,
So my job is to make you love more, and your job is to make me more mean. To make
no, my job is to,
make me be more critical, or make more money and be less altruistic.
screw altruistic.
Right. So
There's nothing good comes from altruistic.
Okay, that's bullshit. I went to Atlanta 3 weeks ago and did the Orange Duffel Bag Initiative 10-year anniversary. It was nothing but good.
That is good.
We had thousands of kids that we've helped change the trajectory
But guess
of their
what?
lives.
People that donate to that are not altruistic because they get a tax write-off.
But you know what? We helped some kids. I don't get a tax write-off.
I love kids. I think kids are the only, let me put it this way. Kids are the only pure things on this earth.
Well, until they're about 10.
Yeah, maybe
Then they're
9.
not pure.
Maybe 9.
They start getting truly evil.
Yeah, as soon as they get an opinion.
Yeah.
It's like,
as soon as
shut
they
up.
start having pubescence, they get a little.
Yeah, like stop telling me that you think like Steve Nash was a better point guard than John Stockton and stuff. Like, don't tell me stupid stuff like
totally
that.
stupid. That's
Yeah,
stupid.
don't even bring that crap over
Yeah,
here.
Steve Nash was a great player.
Yes.
John Stockton was greater.
Yeah, like go look up some statistics and watch some film
Look at
or
the data.
something.
Look at the
Do
data.
something.
Yeah.
Don't bring your opinions over here.
Yeah.
But before that, they're the purest things on this earth,
Of course.
and they deserve more.
They deserve to be loved and cared for and cherished.
Absolutely. And I love what you do for them. I'm just saying altruism doesn't really do anything.
Okay, then I'm just a turd that does nothing.
No.
Because I'm an altruistic
You don't do
dude.
it for an altruistic purpose. You do it because you realize the benefit. That's not altruistic.
Someone did it for me, so I'm doing it for them.
Correct. That's not altruistic.
Okay.
That's critical thinking.
Is it?
It is.
When you whisper.
Have you heard of this ASMR stuff?
ASMR?
Yeah, they go and they whisper like this.
Oh, that's neurolinguistic programming.
Like, just like,
Yeah, when you want.
come over here to my campfire and let's have some hot chocolate.
You use fluctuations in your voice and your volumes to
Yes.
make a point.
Yes, you do.
Really specific.
I can't take it, dude. I can't take it.
I don't know. Are we off the reservation today? But
Oh, for sure.
I think our
It's been
talk-
too long. It's been too long, and I will take full responsibility for the chaos that I have provided the podcast for not it occurring for the last month
Yeah,
and a half.
month and a half. Yeah.
I've actually had people email me and calling me like, "Hey, what the fuck happened to your podcast?"
What's a podcast, man?
I'm like,
It's
"Shut up."
I told Brian when we do this, I'm like, we have to be consistent. That's the big thing about this.
You know what's so funny is when you tell me we have to be consistent, my natural thought is I don't want to be
Of course,
consistent.
because you have free will and you're fighting my.
No, I want to test my free will. I want to be like, can I really
Well,
say it and do it?
okay, that's fascinating.
Just like, how far can I push it?
So what kind of wisdom can we throw down for our people to pick up this week on free will? So my wisdom is you had free will before you came to this earth. You have free will on this earth, and some people have less free will than others based on circumstance, environment, and genetics. But use that free will which you have to get better and be a better person.
And here's what I'll say. You don't have free will. Everything you do is cause and effect and based on what you have brought up and how your mind works. So therefore, you don't have free will. So stop being so hard on yourself. Try and be better, but you don't have any free will. So just, karma, altruism doesn't exist. Love you all.
So
Should I play some music now?
you should. Let's life karma out. Have a great week. Later.
Look into blockchain technology. Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. We need to do a Halloween.
Trick or treat.
Trick or
We should
treat.
do a trick or treat episode.
Trick or treat. We will. Well, life karma out. You guys have a great week.